Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown featuring myself once again, bringing my favourite children of the old ones, the Lizardmen, up against Caradrian of ODM and the mighty Wood Elf forces here on Alpine Ridge, which is a particularly fun map due to the fact that it does have this big hill in the middle, which means a little bit of different tactical awareness is sometimes needed, but luckily we can see everything because we have these vanguarded troops just behind the enemy. Now, the reason I want to do this video not only is a super fun game, but I wanted to showcase one of the more sneaky, under-the-radar changes which has come in with the latest DLC change for the Lizardmen, and that is the power, skill, and level of Tehenowin, the ultimate jacked-up skinky. Before, Tehenowin was a middle-of-the-road legendary lord. He was good, but he wasn't great. You're never really going to pick him too often because Lord Mazdamundi, Krokgar, Saurus Old Bloods, and Slans in general just overshadowed him vastly in his skill level. But with the recent buffs to his Law of Magic, he's actually really quite powerful now, and I think we may be seeing Tehenowin, when people kind of slowly notch onto the fact that he's very powerful now, more and more, which I'm incredibly excited about. And we're going to be bringing him here today on his Horned One. He can come on a variety of mounts. I bet he can come up in the sky, on a giant stegodon, on foot, but the Horned One gives him nice fast mobility around the battlefield, and not only do you only get to bring him against dwarves with those Amber Spear, he's good against pretty much anyone. He is kind of stand your ground as well as Arcane Conduit, but these three spells right here are so powerful. We have the Curse, which is a big air effect debuff to melee attack speed and melee defense, Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, which when overcast becomes air of effect, extra 20% physical resistance and 24 melee defense is certainly no joke, and the ultimate power that is Flock of Doom. He's been rolling dirty on this right-hand flank alongside a unit of Horned Ones, some of the more elite cavalry in the game, and it seems like they're actually doing poison right now, but have no fear, that is because the Tehenowin gives this air of effect poison ability, the Blade of the Serpent's Tongue, to nearby friendly foes, and or nearby friendly allies, I should say, but poisons nearby enemy foes. We have some Cold Riders supporting those guys, a front line of Skinks mixed in with red-crested Skinkies, and some Saurus in the central core, two of which have spears, once again flanked on the left-hand side by more Skinks, and supported by Cold Riders and yet another unit of Horned Ones. Good news about Tehenowin as well, you don't have to bring a Skink Priest anymore. It's your Lord and Caster all rolled into one, making him very cost effective. Two Chameleon Stalkers are going to be in the back line here looking to harass Glade Guard, which does tend to be the meta here. A load of Glade Guard versus a load of Bastildons with solar engines, but I've not gone for the meta today. For the Wood Elves, we have Eternal Guard on the flanks as well in the centre core here, and Dryades in a nice vanguarded position, trying to bomb rush the hill, harass Skinks and Saurus alike. We also have a Branch Wraith coming in with just Earthblood, which is quite an interesting choice. No Pendulum to date. Down here, hide amongst the Dryads, we do have a Glade Lady with, of course, her net and the arrows of Kurnos, and we have the expected Glade Guard with Starfire Shaft. So powerful here with their AP missiles. They can tear apart Saurus, large creatures, as well as our cavalry if we're not careful enough. We also have some Glade Riders with Spears and Wild Riders guarding the back line. Looks like 2 units of Wild Riders in fact, and that's going to be it for our opponent's build. We do come with quite a funny smiley face formation if you do look at the mini-map up here, very long face and the 2 eyes, which are the Stalkers. And we're going to be looking to engage the enemy as quickly as possible with the Column Riders whipping far around the flanks, trying to avoid here the pressure of the Glade Lady. And it looks like we have managed to drag the Wild Riders in this direction. That's going to buy time for Tehenowin and his cavalry units to hopefully get in on that far side. They were distracted or hidden because of the big fat hill, of course. Dryads do push really aggressively. I'm actually going to try to assist and 2v1 them, just to munch through them as quickly as possible, break them down, and then we can charge down the hill into the Glade Guard, which certainly will help out quite a bit. Unfortunately, the Column Riders again eviscerated on approach by the Glade Guard, but you have to take some losses when you're against the Wood Elves early on. Chameleon Stalkers have managed to move up now, looking to harass the Glade Guard where possible, but the cavalry is going to be on the prowl, so we need to try and get in there and do as much damage as physically possible early on. But the Glade Riders, really good micro actually by our opponent, dispatching one unit to hunt this unit down, and the other one moving back just to scope out to see if there's any more Stalkers coming in. Cold Riders taking quite a pounding right now, but the red-crested Skinks and Saurus did 2v1 the Dryads, and are now going to be able to push down into the main fight, though Eternal Guard and more backup Dryads are trying to swarm in here. Wild Riders do engage a lot of our troops, and it looks like a net does go down on the Horned Ones, the Brave Enough Raymer, and now the Bowfire is really going to start rinsing them quite poorly. The Curse has gone down though, the Wild Riders not having the best of times here up against our beat-up Riders, who do have Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, as well as stand your ground, keeping them fighting, and we do have a fat Flock of Doom down, catching as many enemy warriors as possible, and the Horned Ones get free just in time here to counter-punch the Wild Riders, and boy oh boy, Horned Ones just steps above The Wild Riders can now rip and tear them to sunder, and you can just see the difference in damage value despite the fact the Wild Riders do have missile support. Little skinks are starting to drive through little hidden gaps in my opponent's battle line, and the Chameleon Stalkers have arrived. The second unit doing some big burst damage to those Glade Guard, and we're starting to swarm as much as possible. There's some cavalry who was lurking in the trees as well as these skink cohorts, waiting for the battle to become a big flustercluck, and now we can start to swoop in. We're driving forward, loosing screeches of battle cry and war as we head towards the enemy. Flock of Doom goes down, catching these Wild Riders, Glade Riders, as well as the Eternal Guard, even the Glade Lady, but she won't take too much damage. Anyone is a little bit isolated at the moment and alone. The Horned One's barely clinging on here to life in an attempt to support him, but with Flock of Dooms being surrounded, it isn't the end of the days anymore for Tehenwyn. He'll still be able to do some pretty decent work, and he can be pretty tanky up against basic troops like this. Chameleon Stalkers managed to shatter one unit of Glade Guard, fall back, 360 no-scoping some Dryades there with their precursor weapons. The full health unit of Horned Ones, as well as the Common Riders, are going to swoop in now, once again gunning for those Glade Guard of Starfire Shaft. The other unit hunting down the Branch Wraith, looking to surround her and drag her down, but I see the opportunity to hop on top of the Glade Lady, and I'm certainly going to be trying to do that as much as possible. The Glade Rock Guard in the back line and just raining fire in. Horned Ones aren't stopping and sticking in any engagements too much because there's a lot of Eternal Guard around. So I'm going to be hitting those guys with a Flock of Doom, trying to grind them down with Sword Swords and other such units, and allow the Horned Ones to bounce around different engagements. We have managed to engage the Glade Lady with Tehenwyn, hopping on top with the Horned Ones, in fact it's the Cold One Riders. And the lady is probably going to be able to escape this, maybe. She does pop a net down to try to escape, but the Cold One's really pinning her in place. She has her little route to freedom, but she might indeed break before she gets there. No, she just about managed to slither out of our grasp, at least for now. Horned One's going to be going for a rear attack here on the Dryades. I'm just trying to break through as much of this front line as possible, because that's going to allow the Saurus Spears to drive in. And this is a healthy unit of 57 Saurus. They do absolutely fine up against Dryades, Eternal Guard, and also equally well up against the Wild Riders. Horned Ones down to just 10 models, but up to 64 kills is pretty impressive work. And once again, my opponent has bunched up quite a bit, so we're going to hit them with the old Flock of Doom combo. A nice counter-punch, though, does come in, which is the Earth Blood, to heal up the damage we do indeed deal. Tehenwyn is going after that Branch Wraith booty. We were actually pulling him wide before to go after the Glade Lady, but she's just simply too fast for us. So instead, we're going to take out the enemy Spellcaster, and with that, the balance power is going to move very heavily in our favour right now. Horned Ones are going to whip out to this right-hand flank to shut down the Glade Guard of Starfire Shafts. You can run, but you can't hide from the Velociraptor Cavalry. And the main infantry fight is certainly going very well for us. We just have so many skinks and swords left. Going wide with Lizardmen is so powerful right now. Same with Dwarfs, actually. I found big success with both these factions at the moment. And it looks like our opponent is indeed going to bow out. But well played. He was a really lovely dude, actually, Caradrin. We have spoke a little bit before the battle. If you ever see him, say hello. He's a really nice guy and a very talented player as well. Well played, man. He made it a Pyrrhic victory. We lost a lot of troops there, but I think this is a good showcase of Tehenwyn and the power that he can be. He's an absolute beast. You can see he got 2,133 damage value here, over 11k damage dealt, and the majority of the time, yeah, he did a couple of Flock of Dooms, but we were popping a lot of curses and Pan's impenetrable pelts, means that cavalry in particular really shine with him, because your opponent comes in with some hard-hitting infantry or really elite cavalry to counter your own. You simply buff up your troops, you nuke the enemies, and it is an absolute fantastic time. And Tehenwyn, yeah, look out for him. I think you're going to be seeing him a lot more in tournaments as well as multiplayer, due mainly to the fact, not even changes done to him, but changes done to his lore of magic, which makes him so juicy and good. Well played to my opponent once more, and if you guys did enjoy this video, don't worry, we will get to the damage value and damage dealt in just a second. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that big old fat thumbs up button, subscribe for more glorious Total War Warhammer content into the future, and comment down below, do you think we're going to see the red-crested Skinky himself in action more often? Do you think I'm overhyping him and I'm just too excited about Lizardmen units? Let me know. And also, what do you think of Horned Ones? Because I actually think they're relatively decent cavalry option at the moment, though a little bit risky. Going up against a faction like Wood Elves, having at least 4 cavalry is so nice just to swarm, surround them and all that good stuff. Feel free just to yell quack down below if you've got nothing to add to the battle as well, or just say hi. You know, I'm always happy to see your guys' comments. There are links in the description to my Patreon where you can support my channel, my Discord as well, where you can submit replays, get involved in events and tournaments I host, and all that juicy stuff. But anyway, on to the real reason we're here. Damage dealt, damage value to Henwin, an absolute beast stat. Skin cohorts across the board, 300, 300. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but paying for themselves. And again, making our line a little bit wider so we can try to rush and surround the Wood Elf forces, because the main threat in this matchup by far is Starfire Shafts. Red-Crested Skinks, 104 kills, 1,214 damage value is straight up ridiculous. That is amazing value there by the Red-Crested Skinks. Chameleon Stalkers, 996 damage value and 81 kills. The other unit, 591. And I've actually become a big fan of the Chameleon Stalkers. On release, I was a little bit like, I don't know how good these guys are realistically going to be. But using just a couple of units to harass the mini back line is actually quite nice and can be a big pain in the butt for the enemy. Saurus across the board did relatively solid, just dragging down the enemy and being pretty healthy in the late game, at least for the spears. The javelins unfortunately didn't fare super well. As for the cavalry contingent, the two basic units of Cold One Riders did okay. I mean, 689 and 473 damage value isn't paying for themselves, but again, it's the distraction that your opponent has to deal with the cavalry and therefore has to take away valuable resources away from winning the front line, and then your front line crumbles and all of a sudden there's Lizardmen completely surrounding you all over the place. As for the Horned Ones, this unit, 650 damage value, not bad whatsoever considering they're basically full health. This is the unit we were using in reserve to swoop in and kind of clutch the victory in the later stages of the battle. The other unit got absolutely pounded by missile pressure, focus fired down by a load of the Glade Guard and netted once, but still despite that came out with 69 kills, absolute chads there, and 1,461 damage value. Horned Ones, you do absolutely amazing work. They look very cool as well, and that's certainly got to count for something. The Glade Lady herself, 856 damage value, not terrible whatsoever considering she's mainly brought simply for that net ability. The Branch Race came off with some good Earthbloods. I would like to see Pendulum as well to clear out the Saurus Warriors, but eventually was surrounded and dragged down by my cavalry forces. Frontline got overwhelmed, which is to be expected. I mean, there was a nice little kind of a tactic my opponent did of committing a load of forces early and then having the backup line to move in afterwards, which would have worked absolute wonders if I brought a typical Lizardmen build with those not Arc of Sotex, sorry, the Bastillon with Solar Engine. There we go, different Bastillon. Coming in with the long-range firepower would work really well, this kind of buffering effect, but because of the cavalry, they ended up having to pull back forces, and it became a bit of a mess. Glade Guard, yeah, not really doing too fantastic, which is really unfortunate because they normally are the MVPs here. The best one getting only 500 there and 31 damage value. Cavalry was used relatively effectively to try to protect the back line. 338 damage value, 1,254. Really nice micro bar my opponent here on this unit of Wild Riders, up to 99 kills. The other one again overwhelmed though by the Horned Ones. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.